Alright, welcome back everybody again, Sign here, and I figured I'd go over really quickly the mods I use in my mod spotlights. Simply just to make things easier to show off and whatnot. But first off, start off with Shockah's base, R3, even though it says version R2 here. And it's just the simple library that all the Shockah's mods use. Then you have to use fancy cheat menu base. Enough said, doesn't do anything, you have to install some modules to it. So basically just two base mods so far. Then fancy cheat menu standard modules. There are other ones that you can use, I just don't have them in because I don't really need them. But this one adds items, NPCs, prefixes, buffs, and then miscellaneous stuff. That's like time of day, your life, is it a blood moon, hard mode, so on and so forth. Let's see. Then inventory tweaks. Item slots are colored by rarity. I don't really use that a whole lot. Shift-click items to move them to and from chests. That I do use. That is actually pretty handy to use. And then I also use the Neo recipe book by Neogen. Shows all recipes. Mod options. Show hide key. I have it bound to L, which I believe is the default. Find ingredients. Required percentage items. Bound to show recipe in the book. I turn that off to none. Show unfound ingredients in recipe select. And show current recipe in the tooltip on hover. Which kind of works, but it's just another tooltip to get in the way. For the most part, especially when I'm trying to show stuff off. I use NeoDraw whenever I want to show off a tile that's like a different ore or something that you can find in the world, but you can't actually place back in the world. Like, gemstone ores and whatnot. Now, you can dig it up, but put it back down, but it will never look the same. Well, I use NeoDraw to be able to put that into the world without having to worry about any of that. And you can see how I just got done doing the trimmer mod spotlight. But that's pretty much all I really use to do the mod spotlights. Neo recipe book is great, especially for regular LPs, even if you don't want to cheat. It gives you all the recipes. Best way I can compare it to is NEI for Minecraft. If anybody there's played it, where you can go through and you can look at all the recipes in the game, click on something, and it'll show you how to make it. That's what this does. Which is great when you start going into large amounts of mods, or mods you've never played with before, and you want to know how to make something. Like, okay, I know this is in the game, how do I make it? And it saves you from having to go through with every item in your chest, and shoving it in the guide and find out what does what. Let's see, standard. One thing I want to mention, careful with the prefixes button and the cheat mode, or cheat menu. It will crash Tappy if you're not careful. Actually, I've never been able to use it without it crashing Tappy. So, that is a thing you need to watch out for. Let's see, let's go ahead and just go ahead and load up my trimmer world again here. And kind of go into different ways that things work. There we go. Just a little house, because one thing to remember, which I forgot when doing this, is on spawn, if there's something in place of natural spawn, Terraria will just break the blocks and put you there. So I kept spawning inside my chunk of coal ore here. There we go. Hey look, buddies! Okay, so let's go ahead and clear out inventory space here a bit. There we go. So now the items. You can't sort these by mod, unfortunately, but a cool trick to remember is modded items are always added to the end. So, I mean, this is all stuff from Trimmer Mod down here. Kind of scroll up a little bit. And careful, the little slider bar is kind of touchy. And the track wheel does not always work. You can go through, and here we go. And here's stuff from the Neo Devices mod that I also like to play around with. But you can sort by consumable, or like pickaxe, axe, hammer, There's a whole bunch of dyes, paints, tiles, anything you can place in the world. Walls, anything that goes in the background. Different pet items, which, in case of like mods, they have to have the correct tags on them to show up in the different sections. Magic, you know, anything that uses mana or has a range, or like where it says like 52 range damage there, or it says blank magic damage, it will show up here. This is kind of a weird one because it'll show up both ranged and magic tabs because the mod maker goofed, I'm guessing. Vanity items, anything you can equip that doesn't give you defense. Legs, anything goes on the legs. Body, same. Head, same, anything goes on the heads. Accessories, items that let you summon things. Different magic items. And, like say, let's go tile. Like say I want 50 stone. It's just like pulling it out of a chest. You know, you just, in this case, hold down right click. Boom, there's 50 stone. You can't shift click in or out of here, which is a bad thing, but oh well. And say you pull something out and you want to put it back, just drop it back where it was. However, if you put it here, and see how it refilled the slot, you can't really put it back. You have to trash it, which is not a big deal. NPCs. You can see here, you got this little, probably shows up a little better like right here. Around my cursor there's this little circle. That shows roughly the size of the area the NPC needs to spawn. And if you just tap it once, it spawns one. Now if I take, click, and drag, start getting this large circle. This is the area the enemies will spawn in. All the little circles are the different guys that will show up. In this case, 189. Okay, I forgot to do God mode. There we go. So yeah, if you want to show up your NPCs, that's how I got my town NPCs where I want them. And here you can filter it by friendly, you know, which will be your town NPCs plus things like bunnies, goldfish, so on and so forth. You can go to just town, which is, you know, pretty much your different town NPCs. Anybody that needs a house, plus the traveling merchant, because he doesn't need a house, but. And if you want to have a lot of fun, summon Santa Claus outside of Christmas time, and he just detonates. Then you can go to bosses. You can actually summon each of the different bosses. This will ignore things like, let me turn on God mode really quick. There we go. Go to bosses, and like say, Eater Worlds. You can't summon him outside of Corruption, right? Well, you can here. He won't hang around, because it's not Corruption. But you can still summon him. Like the hard mode, you know, mechanical bosses, you can summon them outside of night, and they will show up still. Queen Bee doesn't have to be in jungle, she'll hang around. Like the Eye of Cthulhu, summon him. Since it's daytime, he just leaves. And then you can go to other, which is pretty much any hostile, non-boss mob, you know, NPC. Oh. And occasionally it will do that. I think it may actually be my mouse. It has problems with clicking. But you select something you don't want to, just hit escape and it takes you back to the menu. Let's see, prefixes, we're ignoring that. Buffs. You can choose any buff you want. Positives, you can filter by positive, no timer, pet. If you right click on these, you can see it shows up a red X. Like say, no timer, I put a red X on it. It means it removes any buff that has no timer on it. Positives, right click on it, now it'll only show debuffs. You can set here, you know, the length of your buff, either minutes, so you can do, like say 0 minutes and 60 seconds, or you can do up to an hour, so. Different buffs, whatnot, it'll work out pretty good that way. Oh, and that would be a crash. Apparently, it doesn't like showing certain tremor buffs, so I'll be back in just a second. There we go, and we're back, and turns out it doesn't like showing buffs that don't go away from certain mods. So be careful with that. Don't scroll to the end of the list unless you're absolutely certain it'll be fine. Works fine with all vanilla buffs. But like the rune buffs from Tremor, it doesn't like. It's a constantly renewing buff and it messes with the code a bit. And then let's see. Lastly, we have the miscellaneous tab. And like I said, you can set the current time, you know, day, night, sunset, so on and so forth. You can set the rate of time all the way from 0, which locks the sun in place. Or you can go to 200 speed, which is pretty handy. You can set what phase of the moon it is, and instead of being like phase 1 through 8, like it shows up in all the documentation, it actually shows you like waning crescent, new moon, so on and so forth. You know, all the way full moon at each end. You have a hard mode button, click to toggle, which turns from the Eye of Cthulhu, or from a suspicious looking eye to a mechanical eye. Blood moon off or on, which I can't do right now because it's daytime. Solar eclipse off or on. And then system date based Christmas. Basically left click to force it to be Christmas, right click to force it to ignore Christmas. And then you can do the same with Halloween. And then this little box shows up, which you can ignore the Halloween forcing when saving. Why is there a corrupt bunny running around? Alright. You can set your max life from anywhere. Oh, don't go below 20. That's right. And we're back again. Yeah, one thing I forgot is because the max life is rendered in these hearts, which have a base value of 20. If you try taking less than 20, it tries getting rid of all the hearts, and the game does not like that. So that is something to avoid. Max mana you can set to anywhere as well as you want. I believe, yes, you can actually set your max mana to 0. Don't try setting your max life below 20. It hates you. And you can set your current values. You're going to get max life, max mana, current mana. You cannot set your current higher than your max, however. Game won't let you. And then we have a bunch of little buttons over here. First button is God mode, toggle on and off. No clip, which lets you fly around, pass through blocks, the whole 9 yards. Will not let you pass through enemies unless you have God mode also turned on, though. And you will get hurt still. One thing to remember about no clip is you cannot use teleportation or recalls. It will activate and leave you exactly where you were. What this does is it unbinds your character from anything in the game that would affect it. So that includes recalling or teleporting. No ammo or mana usage. One thing to remember is if this has been turned on and then turned off again, sometimes certain mana weapons will lose their mana cost. It'll still have, you'll still use the mana, it just won't show you how much mana you're using. Extended range. Basically, it makes it so the range of any tool is the length of the entire screen. Let's go get us an axe, I guess. Let's get a fast one. Yeah, sure my digging claw. That actually already has a -1 range anyway. So we can come up here and I can dig that tree. And I can do that one. I can get that block over there. Yeah. So the extended range is rather nice for that. Increased building speed. Basically just full-time builder's potion. Ramped up a bit. Don't consume tiles. So let's see. Turn this on. Let's see. Let's pull one stone here. Put that in our hotbar. Now with that on, I can build with that one stone as much as I want. So if you're doing like a creative style build or something like that, that is definitely worth it. Camera attached to player, pre-camera mode, right? Lets you go and look around while leaving him still there. The only downside is unless you have like full bright on, you're not going to be able to see anything if you go underground. Now, full bright is something else that's kind of fun. Let's turn no clip on. Full bright just makes it so that you can see everything. Again, if you're doing like a custom map or something, that would be... These two options would be spectacular, actually. Let's see. Put up here. One thing to remember is, like say, okay, I'm in dirt here, turn off no clip. I won't start suffocating. Suffocation is only linked to gravity blocks. Sand, slush, silt, those. See if I can find something that will... Oh yeah, I just got hurt by an enemy there. Because I don't have God mode on. Oh, here we go. Here's some sand. You can see I'm taking suffocation damage by being in there, even no clip. It's just special property of that block. So, something else to keep track of. You know, just... Let's see, back up to here. Turn off no clip. Turn off full price. Okay. Next is 100% discount. You can buy anything from anybody for free, pretty much. Let's see, I have 92 silver. Shop. Like, say... Okay. Marco. You have something for 1 gold. I can't buy it because I don't have enough to purchase it. But... Look, free bunnies. Basically, it just makes it so it has no value. Lancelot. I'm guessing it only works with actual vanilla items. That is something to remember. Doesn't work with modded items necessarily. And then, let NPCs spawn. Okay, click it. I wish there was an icon here, but it's not. It took me a while to find it the first time. But yeah, click the toggle if NPCs can spawn or not. And then, ignore NPC spawning setting when saving. Or, you know, click to save it. Alright, so now it's going to save this, so next time you load the world up, you still won't have any NPCs. You can do the same with, like, Halloween and stuff, so that way you can just constantly have the game remember, hey, I want this setting. That's kind of about it for the basic Shockahs thing. I mean, except for inventory tweaks, which shift-click can move stuff back and forth between inventories just by, well, holding shift and clicking. It puts it into the chest instead of into your trash can. It'll still put stuff in your trash if you're not in a chest. However, it won't... Like I said, the chest you're trying to shift-click into is full. It won't automatically trash things after that point. So that is kind of something to remember. It's kind of nice and helpful and useful a bit. Let's see, I think that's pretty much it for my, what I use to do different spotlights. Use the items to give you whatever you need, you know, to show off things, or in my case, rocket boots for slow extra mobility, so I'm not, messing around too much, I guess. Yeah, that's just about it, really. But yeah, the important thing to remember, modded items are at the end. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and call this a video, and I shall see you guys next time.